So I'm Buddy Kavalier, research strategist with John Deere Power Systems. Sitting behind me, we've got an 8R ethanol power tractor, roughly in the mid 300 horsepower range. So back in 2020, we were looking for a lower cost fuel that would be impactful for our customers. We were also seeking at the time a lower carbon intensity. I would say the pressure's off of that a little bit at this point. I don't know as though that completely disappears, but with this solution here, it has a lot to offer. So one of the things that we get with ethanol is because it's a clean burning fuel or cleaner burning fuel than diesel, we significantly reduce the after treatment system complexity. Ethanol doesn't generate a lot of particulate matter. That's one of the benefits we get. So the regens and the particulate filter we have with the diesel engine, we don't need that on the ethanol engine. Ethanol also on spark ignition doesn't generate a lot of NOx, so we can clean up the nitrous oxide with a combination of the three-way catalyst that we'd add here for North America and some onboard engine technology to reduce the NOx on it. So from a customer standpoint, another attractive component of ethanol is we can reduce the fuel cost. So ethanol, for every gallon of diesel, we need about 1.72 gallons of ethanol. That 1.72 gallons of ethanol, we can source that anywhere between 15, perhaps as high as 30% over buying 1 gallon of diesel. So the economics of running ethanol is favorable for diesel, or favorable for ethanol. So we currently have the tractor here in the National Corn Growers booth, and the reason for that is we have partnered with the National Corn Growers along with state level corn growers associations, Growmark and FS, to be able to get some of the infrastructure, specifically the fueling trailer, to get that tractor out in the field utilizing fuel trailers they're providing to help us with this pilot. We ran this tractor last fall at 3 different customers. And on those customers that ran it, initially when we talked to them about having an ethanol spark ignition engine, they don't feel the engine's going to perform the same as their diesel. What I would say is it's a little bit less on the bottom end, but when you're shortly into the RPM band where we're building power, the ethanol engine actually performs pretty well. In fact, customers at the end of the day that ran it, their feedback was, wow, I did not expect that. This thing performed significantly better than what we were expecting. And in fact, they said we could definitely see this in our operation. So this coming spring, the plan is we will have a few additional tractors. We are going to get those in the spring to 2 different states. Probably specifically, I would say Iowa and Illinois. We will look at other states as well. Those aren't last but least, where we consider every state important for our customers. So the plan is as we get into the season further in, maybe there's some things we can do in the summer, and in the fall, we'll start moving into neighboring states and so on, and hopefully get some more feedback. And ultimately, we'd like to see where we can source ethanol a little further outside the Corn Belt as well. In fact, we've started exploring that as well, and we've been finding out that there's a lot of support from the ethanol industry to help supply this tractor the fuel we need to keep it running in the field. So one more comment I would make relative to the engine. We're looking for this engine to be diesel level performance. We want this engine also to meet our customers' expectations in terms of uptime, reliability, and durability. So it is important. That's one of the reasons we're showcasing this product. We want to get it in customers' hands and get some of that early customer feedback, the insights, and then we can use that to make a decision on how we're going to advance this project to production.